I just remembered the other super horrible church story time that I probably shouldn't share. So I will give a very vague, no names mentioned. One of these examples of the Ethernet, this is a prime example. I have seen several different episodes like this of like people gossiping and knowing about you. It gets real bad, y'all. And it gets so bad that like the preacher don't just preach about you from the pulpit because he's mad and in the flesh. He sends other people after you. The guest speaker that comes in, whenever the evangelist comes, he's going to be the most word of knowledge person ever and read everybody's mail and preach on every topic. You know what? This happens 99% of the time in churches. When the evangelist comes, y'all newbies out there need to know this so bad. This is what I need to make the shorts of and put everywhere. Facebook Reels, TikTok. This is the warfare that's going to get me in trouble next. When the evangelist comes to town, he is given the lowdown. He is given the story on everything in the church. This family got this. They're over here doing this. This is the latest story here. It's the gossip. And then the anointed, inspired word, the prophecies and the information and the instructions. And that way the evangelist becomes it's not just evangelists, guys, but it's the guest speakers, whatever you want to call it. They become, this is how the power grows in the church. They become the respected, the awed, the feared, the God anointed. Because how did they know? How did they know exactly what to pray about, what I needed? How did they know exactly, God called me out? But this also is used in very devious ways of when the preacher wants to set something straight or get at somebody or make them feel bad or run them off or turn people against them. He will have whoever the inspired person is, usually a guest. He will have them fully informed. And so if the guest wants to be invited back to that church so they can keep their pockets lined, they're going to follow what that preacher wants them to do into that congregation. So they're going to play along. This is the game, and it happens constantly. And you guys need to know this is not from God. There's so much stuff that happens in the church that is not from God. And especially the newbies, the inexperienced, will be interpreting. They will be interpreting these messages, these jabs, these hateful darts as this is what God has for me personally in a very, very crucial times of my life. And that is a killer. That hurts a lot of people bad. So yeah, everybody should know this game, honey. And so the prophet or the evangelist or the guest speaker comes in, prophet, apostle, bishop. That's another big title, people. Don't do none of them titles. That's ridiculous. Be the servant. The bishop comes in and reads your mail and sets you straight and turns 15 people against you, and that was all straight from God. And you would think, no, nobody falls for that. Everybody falls for it constantly. Constantly. And you guys need to know that. This is the game. These are the kind of things that make a lot of people skeptic and say faith is just fake and God's not even real. But this is what happens. And then they come in, and like this one time, the evangelist came from out of the state and happened to be preaching right along the line of the clash that was happening between the preacher and a family. The preacher's children and the family's children were fighting in the church. So here comes the out-of-town evangelist that was on his regular trip, happens to suddenly know that God is rebuking a family here. I can sense. That's another one. Oh, I can just feel in the spirits. Oh, I just know there's somebody here with this issue and this problem. And you would think people would have the fear of God to act like this, but they don't. That's another reason why you're not believing it. Oh, I can sense that there's just someone here that's giving the preacher a lot of problems, and God's getting ready to smite your finances and smite your health and smite your children if you don't lay that thing on the altar. I'm telling you, the psychology, y'all, it is perverted. It is perverted. That's part of the perversion of the power tripping of the man that attacked me like this, is these people come to think that they are God and they have a right to do this to you. It's filthy. It's filthy and it's wrong. And I could come on here and do lives all day long about this topic. This is why I'm back. This is why I'm back. Not to talk about the third seal or 9/11 or none of it. Let's talk about this. So they come in and they that what would that be called? They hire the guest speaker to set you straight and to do their little soapbox so that you think it's God doing it. Some of them probably think it is God and that's how God works. But I've seen that happen more than one time. And I've seen people really struggle mentally and spiritually and emotionally with, but I know God was in that. I felt it. And how could that be otherwise? Not having a clue until we talk to each other and get more experience. Not having a clue that that's the game. It's dirty. You would think they're thinking people would have the fear of God that they would have to do something like that. They come in and they're going to set you straight, and that's their place. Kind of like the idiot guy I was talking about earlier was going to set me straight. Because surely that's the man of God. And surely she didn't have a right to say he did what he actually did. Because there's lots of other things he did I've never talked about, right? That's happening a lot. I hope that helps someone. I hate to say it, God talks to people all day long. And he helps people and he gives them information and puzzles and mysteries and healings and miracles of all sorts all the time, because God is everywhere and God is miraculous constantly. But everyone's being tested. Are you going to take advantage of that and make it about you and make it about, we have a right to seek out the best gifts, but are we going to make it about ourselves so much that we're going to do this filthy thing like make sure that we're getting a certain level of attention all the time and we're getting all the focus instead of the Lord, or making sure that we're manipulating and controlling people because now we're mad and now we're angry and now we're going to get even and hurt people. Like one of the reasons why a person will get caught in this trap and become a leader, and they will have signs and wonders and everyone will start looking up to them, that's unnecessary, is that that's really a dime a dozen. We don't realize it. There's a lot of situations we run into in life until we're experienced in that area or have studied it, that's a dime a dozen. We're thinking, oh, unique, amazing, one in a lifetime. No, it's a dime a dozen. And that's true with a lot of traps that try to lure us and everything. We'll get trapped because we're like, oh, it's rare. No, it's a dime a dozen. It really is. It's everywhere. And so, like these miracle workers and these people that are so anointed, the local situation with the guy, this attacker guy I'm talking about, is they were inexperienced. They were just starting their little churches and situations. They hadn't seen this before, that it is a dime a dozen. So by the time someone builds a gift and has a gift and grows a gift and, learns to play the concert piano or the violin or whatever the gift, skill, or trade is, that a lot of these characters build themselves up so much that they're not realizing God can do this anywhere, with anyone, at any time. He can, there's a lot of people with you thought your little gift and skill was so unique that you get to call yourself God, that you get to put your stamp of approval on apostasy and things that are reprobate. You're so important in God's kingdom, you get to put your stamp of approval on horrible sin and abominations, and nobody can say anything about it. And really, your little grift trip that you're running around doing, people could do what you do a dime a dozen. That's common. You think that you have a certain level of skill and ability with miracles or reading people or cold reading or spirit work or connections in the spirit realm. That's everywhere. There's a lot of people with their natural gifts and abilities that if they dedicate themselves just at all, if they dedicate themselves into a level, they'll have them same gifts as you. That's humility. But you need the humility of that or you're going to fall and become like one of these crazy people that hurt people. Just a reminder to always be humble that there's a lot of people with a lot of unique gifts and skills and talents that if they apply themselves and if they dedicate, it can become something, good in that area. It can be something that people think is amazing. It's everywhere. Everyone could have miracles happen in Jesus' name. So who's going to go around saying, give me thousands of dollars? Let everyone know my name is out there. And you're gonna always put me up in the 5-star hotel 100 miles away. And you're going to look up to me and you're going to give me whatever I say when I come. And if there's a baby crying in the room, you're going to remove that baby and you're going to respect me like I'm some apostle. And you're going to worship the ground I walk on. And if I decide to kill people, I'm going to turn to you and say, oh, that dead body over there? Well, I did it in the name of God. And if I did it, then you should be doing it. You should be in agreement with it. It literally gets that bad. All over something that everybody could do. Anybody could do what you're doing. Anybody can have spiritual gifts. Anybody can do that. You're not this some strange, unicorn. Anyway, hopefully I have a way of just trying to really make my points hit home, but it does help people. People tell me it helps them, so I try, and that's a big one. Is people getting all into themselves over thinking that because they had a miracle sign and a wonder that they should receive a certain level of honor that's above and beyond honor. It's worship and idolatry when most everybody has these gifts, right? That's why it's listed in the Bible and saying seek them out. Okay, so next I plan to do an end time Bible study and talk about errors that were planted into the church with Schofield just at these end times to trick the church in areas. I haven't even studied that yet, so I'd be sharing what I'm learning.